It's just major right here, you know what I'm saying?
Word, man.
You know
Glad
what
we
I'm
got
saying?
together to do this. You know what I'm talking about?
It's all real.
Everybody, north, south, east, west. You know what I'm
No
saying? We
doubt.
doing this thing right here, straight up for hip hop.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Hip Hop Talking Heads. I am one of the Hip Hop Talking Heads. This is B-Moore the poet. Once again, riding solo dolo today. And the reason for that is because today we are talking about Drake and Kendrick Lamar. Now, just a little background on how me and L Boogie felt about this. We honestly kind of felt like everybody had pretty much already said everything that could be said and everything that, you know, that anybody really wanted to hear. And everybody's kind of pretty tired of it. We also just felt like we didn't want to, if this podcast was successful, we didn't want it to be built off the back of this. We wanted to focus on hip hop and music and, you know, just that. But with the happenings of the lawsuit and that coming back into, you know, the main headlines as of late, I felt like it was kind of pertinent that I talk about it because it's like it's in hip hop. We can't avoid it. So that is the reason as to why I'm finally deciding to record anything about it. So what I want to talk about a little bit right now is just the current status of the lawsuit. As of right now, Judge Vargas has not made a decision on whether she is going to dismiss the defamation case or not. As you guys know, there is some discovery going on. Drake has made some requests for documents, including paternity tests or any conversation related to the paternity results of Kendrick Lamar's children, Kendrick Lamar's contract, Lucy and Grange's communication, any communications about Not Like Us, anything having to do with Kendrick Lamar's alleged abuse of Whitney, anything of that nature, he's requesting documents for. So honestly, like I hope it gets thrown out, but like I said, that's where we're at. That's where we're at right now. Is him wanting to get a bunch of documents pertaining to his lawsuit and just get the judge to get to a point where she feels like this case should go on because she cannot at this juncture make an actual decision on whether this case should be thrown out pre-trial or, you know, after both sides have been heard at a formal trial. So that's where we're at right now. UMG has responded, but as far as I know, UMG has not made any formal requests to Drake's legal team about any kind of documents or anything that they want to see or anything of that nature, as far as I know. So again, that's where we're at. I'm not aware of when Judge Vargas will decide to either let the case go on to trial or when she will decide to go ahead and throw out the defamation case altogether. So with that being said, I guess, you know, it's kind of pertinent to talk about just about how the beef started. So for those who don't know, the beef started really back on the Control verse. The Control verse is Kendrick's legendary verse from Big Sean's kind of scrap track. He couldn't get a sample cleared or something, so he had to leave it off his I think 2012 album or 2013 album. He had to leave it off his album, but decided that nah, you know, the song is so good that it needs to see the light of day, so he just released it. And Kendrick's verse set the music world ablaze, especially the rap world, where he really took a competitive stance with his rap peers, expressing a love for his peers, such as Big Crit, uh, Pusha T, Mac Miller, ASAP Rocky, Drake, J. Cole, all of them. Called them all, hey, what, he mentioned them in song, got love for you all, but I'm trying to murder you, trying to murder y'all. Don't want your friends to want to hear not one noun or verb for any of you. So his stance was, yo, you know what I'm saying, man, I love y'all, but I want to be the best. I want to be the best there ever was. So I'm letting y'all know what time it is, man. Y'all step y'all game up, or I'm running away with the crown. Big Crit was one of the people who responded by saying, man, I'm just happy to be mentioned. Pusha T was like, yo, man, hey, I respect that. I respect it. Man, that's beautiful. I think it's great for hip hop. So many of the artists mentioned were like, this is great. This is great for hip hop, man. We love what he's doing. Some people did respond on wax. Kendrick didn't respond to any of them, didn't feel the need to. Fair enough. But a person who decided that those words were a bit too harsh was Drake. Drake was somebody who took the lyrics to heart and didn't really seem like he felt the competitive spirit of the track. So from that moment on, it kind of started a cold war between the two. A cold war that didn't seem like it would ever come to actual blows. So somewhere along the line, after numerous attempts to, kind of extend the olive branch towards Kendrick seemingly always slapping his hand away, like, bitch, I don't like you. Like, Kendrick going on so many occasions really seemed like he was really like, bro, I don't fuck with you. I don't fuck with you. Stop. You're doing too much. I don't really fuck with you like that. Like, I'm not gonna fade you, but I don't fuck with you. So here we come to 2023, where seemingly harmless track with Drake and J. Cole gets released from Kendrick Lamar's, I mean, not from Kendrick, I'm sorry, from Drake's For All the Dogs, called First Person Shooter. Kendrick hears the song, hears some lyrics from the song, such as, we the big three, like we started our league, like we started the league. Well, no, people argue about who's the hardest MC. Is it K.Dot? Is it Aubrey or me? We the big three, like we started the league, but right now I feel like Muhammad Ali. And Kendrick was like, oh, well, I had no idea that you all felt like you were on the same playing field as me. Let me go ahead and make sure that I correct that sentiment right now. So out of nowhere came the first nuke. And I mean, it was out of nowhere. Metro Boomin and Future dropped the collab album called We Don't Trust You. And it seemed to a lot of people that the you in We Don't Trust You was aimed directly at Drake. Now, just a little context, and I mean a little context, just a little context, it would seem as if Future and Drake did have a close relationship at one point, but something happened. I don't want to allege about what it's about because I don't truly know what it's about. Google is your best friend. But they had fallen out, apparently. And yeah, Future got on, got on the or did a collab album with Metro Boomin, and then boom, you have We Don't Trust You. I think the falling out with Drake, I mean the falling out with Future actually did kind of fuck with Drake. I think that was one that he, that did kind of hurt him a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But either way, on We Don't Trust You was a track called Like That. On Like That, as you all know, Kendrick stepped forward and said pretty much words that will probably go down to hip hop history. Uh, Motherfuck the big three. It's just Big Me. And then with those words, issued up a challenge. Okay, if y'all say y'all on the same playing field as me, let's see. Put it up. Let's go. Let's fight. Let's have this friendly. Let's go. That's let's go. Let's run it. J. Cole, all credit in the world, was the first one to drop. It was like, okay, he did it. 7-minute drill. You can still find it on the internet, but you can't officially find it on the internet. J. Cole dropped it a few days later at the Dreamville Fest. He decided to recant and say, you know what, actually that wasn't me. That wasn't really in my heart. I wrote it, I recorded it, I released it, and it just didn't sit well. I, along with the rest of the rap world, was like, what the fuck are you doing, bro? Stand on business, man. Like, no, go ahead, get in the ring. And, to his credit, he was like, yeah, I don't really care what y'all say or think. It don't sit well with my spirit. Because I like Kendrick, man. That's my dog. I like him. I really don't want to fight. I really don't want that. So, nah, I'm cool. And, really, really got to respect that man. Because it was kind of like, I feel it in my spirit. Y'all about to be doing some dumb shit. Like, I'm feeling in my bones. Y'all about to be doing some stupid ass shit. And I don't really want to be a part of it. So y'all got it. Good luck to both of y'all. Keep it clean. Keep it clean, huh? Oh, man. So, that's what happened. So a few days after that, Drake finally sends out a shot called Push Ups. Nice little track, honestly, a little bounce to it. You know what I'm saying? There's some funny ass bars. How you big stepping with a size 7 man's on? Funny shit. Bet you'll set your whole ass up and make some drums. Good. It was funny. It was funny. It was witty. It was clever until he got to a specific part. When he mentioned, hey, I be with some bodyguards like Whitney. You almost feel like, for those who do want best for Drake, that they kind of looked at him and was like, hey, buddy, hey, you want, let's not though, because you did that with Push, and the next thing you know, man, he got on your ass. So, you know what I'm saying? He did a bad thing. He mentioned Whitney. And that was a no-no. So then you get a couple days later, maybe not even a couple days, it might have been a day later. He drops Tailor Made Freestyle. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of felt like it was clever at the time. Because I was kind of like, yeah, man, hey, Kendrick, bro, come on outside, man. You threw the rock at his window, told him to get his bitch ass out here. He's outside. I did at the time feel like it was clever. In hindsight, I was wrong. Fully admit that. But at the time, I did feel like it was clever. In the song, of course, he mimicked the voice of Tupac using AI, trying to draw him out. And then one very important line in that song, while mimicking the voice of Tupac, he decided to say, talk about him liking young girls as a gift from me. That would have been very important. So then he also mimics the voice of Snoop Dogg, who is still alive, and then finally does a verse as himself. And for the most part, he kept it clean. You know what I'm saying? No mentioning of family, no none of that. You know, kept it clean. And he drops the song. A couple of days later, the Tupac estate threatens to sue if he does not take the song down because they did not give him permission to use any kind of likeness of Tupac's voice. To Drake's credit, immediately he was like, all right, fine, I'll take it down. I bet you Kendrick is behind this, though. He continues to troll Kendrick by posting pictures of his manager, Anthony Salah, Kendrick's manager, Anthony. Also, some of Drake's entourage sitting there kind of taunting them, saying that, yeah, that little boy know better and, things of that nature. So the day we all waiting for finally arrives. 17 days after push-ups, I believe it was, Euphoria drops. And everybody loves the track. It's kind of universally praised, except for, of course, people who are on one side of the aisle. It's universally praised. It's lauded. In the song, Kendrick attacks Drake's authenticity, primarily. It is primarily about Drake's authenticity, about how authentic is this image that you're trying to put out, because this isn't you. This ain't you. You're not from where this culture originated from. That's not you. So why are you pretending to be this? That was Kendrick's claim, was just like, you're not authentic. You're not authentic, and you're not true to who you are. And yeah, so that was that. And in the song, not by name, he does, make a mention like, hey, why would you think that I would go around trying to collect dirt on you? Bro, I got a son to raise, but I can see you don't know anything about that. You don't know nothing about that. To me, in my opinion, that was kind of Kendrick's way of pretty much just saying, hey, look, I got my lick back. All right, you mentioned my wife's name. You mentioned my family. I mentioned your family. I got my lick back. Let's keep it clean. From here on out, let's keep it clean, bro. All right, let's keep it clean. So I believe it was that Friday morning, Kendrick dropped 616 in LA, pretty much warning Drake, look, I hear where you're going. I know where you're going. Bro, please don't do this. Please don't do this. I'm begging you, let's not do this. Let's keep it friendly. As he said to Euphoria, this is a friendly fade. We should keep it that way. Let's keep it that way. And 616 in LA was further him stating, listen, I really don't want to do that. I don't want to get dirty. I don't want to sit there and mudsling. Let's just keep it at bars, or let's keep it at each other. So Drake apparently hears that and says, yeah, but nah, I already shot a video to it. So no. And drops Family Matters. Family Matters as a song, it's a pretty good song. That middle part is especially good. It's a really good song in the middle. The only problem with it is his best bars, his best, those best lines and metaphors aren't really aimed at Kendrick. They're aimed at everybody else. Has some funny ass shit in there, especially the one about ASAP Rocky. Like, yo, I didn't even know you still rap still because they only talk about your fit again. And it was like, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't know ASAP Rocky was still rapping. Like, it was like, yo, God, my bad. I didn't know you were still rapping for real. Like that's funny. That's funny because I didn't know you still rapping. So, you know what I'm saying? And so in that song, he made accusations about Kendrick beating his longtime girlfriend, fiance, hopefully not wife, um, and made accusations against his wife in all reality about her sleeping with Kendrick's best friend, Dave Free. Kendrick didn't like that. Kendrick didn't like that at all. So about 40 minutes later, he dropped Beat the Grams. It is my opinion that after Family Matters came out, Kendrick was just like, yo, you know what? Fuck the lyrical combat. I wanted to keep it lyrical combat, but that's obviously not where you want it to go. I'm not even trying to outbar you no more. I'm just trying to make sure I embarrass the absolute shit out of you in any way that I can. I was fine if I lost and we kept it lyrical. But you decided to bring my family into it, then this is no longer about the bars. This is just about making sure that I punish you for what you are doing to my woman, what you are doing to my best friend, what you are doing to my kids. Now this is personal. And he stated as much in Meet the Grams. Talking first to his son, which as a father, the words, "Dear Adonis, I'm sorry that man is your father. Let me be honest." Those are fighting words. Those are fighting words. I'm punching you in the face. Like, no, that's how you started the track. And it was just ridiculous. Then he then speaks to Drake's mother and father, then speaks to an alleged daughter that, to be fair, nobody has found, nobody's seen any proof of. I'm, so be it. And then finally, Kendrick speaks to Drake, to which he makes it clear to anybody who's confused about, or anybody who wants to sit there and say, hey, he didn't out rap Drake or whatever. He made it clear, fuck a rap battle. This is a long like battle with yourself. Pretty much, Kendrick was sitting there and saying, hey, you know what? This ain't about a rap battle. It's not. Now, again, this is just about punishing you for what you did to my family and my loved ones, what you were willing to do to my family and my loved ones. You put money out there in the streets. And if the money got in the hands of the wrong person, my family could have been in danger and you didn't give a fuck. I could have done the same thing. I didn't. So I'm gonna bust your fucking ass. So that was the wildest night I want to say in hip hop history, because I know for a fact there's never been anything that happened like that, thanks to the internet age. There's never been anything that happened like that. To sit there Friday morning, get a pseudo diss track. It wasn't really a diss track. It was really a warning track. 616 in LA. Then, a few hours later, you get Family Matters, scathing diss track. Then 40 minutes after that, on the same Friday, you get Meet the Grams. I think some people had it close. Some people had it favoring Kendrick. wherever. And then the subject of this whole lawsuit happens the very next day. I can remember where I was at. I was sitting in my car, just left Target. And I just happened to be on YouTube. And I get it, I just see a new video from Kendrick Lamar. I'm like, oh my fucking gosh. I was like, again? I was like, nah, this you can't be serious. Turn the beat on, or turn the song on, Monday on the beat out. And the next thing you know, that track hits like the meteor that killed the fucking dinosaurs. It smashed everything in its path. Not Like Us was just I don't think anybody could have predicted how far that would take off. And it took off quick. So I remember after that point, everybody was like, yeah, this is over. This is over. There's no coming back from this. Too many quotables in that song. You know, trying to strike a chord, and it's probably a minor. You had wow, 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 don't fuck them up. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, like it was too much. It was too much. Like there was no coming back from that. And that was pretty much all she wrote. I think a day or two later, Drake dropped the Heart Part 6. You know, trying to use the same strategy that Kendrick used, taking something from one of his famous musical or rap series. If you don't know, Kendrick has a series of songs he releases every time before he drops an album called the Harp series. And Drake took Kendrick was at 5 as of Mr. Morale and the Big Stepper. Drake took the Heart series and put out the Heart Part 6. Prior to that, Drake had a timestamp series that he releases with his albums. And yeah, and Kendrick took that and did a timestamp of his own. So Drake was just returning the favor. Clever. And that song, the Heart Part 6, Drake takes to really kind of Drake takes to kind of just like defending himself against more so the pedophile accusations, and trying to kind of haphazardly put the focus back on Kendrick Lamar, but it just wasn't working. The world was actually just too busy dancing to Not Like Us. There were some witty bars in there. There were some good bars in there. Just ultimately, it wasn't nearly enough. At the end of the song, Drake pretty much admits defeat and just is like, man, whatever. You got it off. You obviously you ultra super prepared for this. You whatever. I don't got the time to be doing this no more. I'm too rich for this shit. And everybody thought, well, that's the end of that. However, the song was so popular that Kendrick took the momentum from it and did something great for the city of LA and did the pop out concert. It was a beautiful experience. It was wonderful to see a lot of LA unity within that concert. Concert took place on Juneteenth. Kendrick knew what he was doing and trying to paint Drake as being an authentic and a non-authentic person and being fake in every way. And even furthermore, not being like us. He painted that picture well and further stamped it by doing it on Juneteenth. I think in saying that, hey, not only are you not like us, but you know you're not of this culture. You like the culture, you're a fan of the culture, but you're not of this culture. This ain't you. So after that, he films a video to Not Like Us, releases that on Independence Day. Once again, very clever marketing because it became like a pseudo American anthem. They not like us. They not like us. If you know anything about America, there's nothing more that America likes than to let everybody else know you're not as good as we are. Yeah, you're decent, but you're not fucking America. Perfect. Genius. Somewhere in the middle of that, Drake decides, and here we're getting to the meat of this. Drake decides, you know what? I'm going to sue. I'm going to sue for defamation because Not Like Us is painting me as a pedophile, and I am not that. And the hip hop world collectively just kind of sighs and breathes and just pretty much says, all right, bro, it was just a fucking diss track. Drake does not see it that way. So then, Kendrick, does the Super Bowl. He drops GNX first and then does the Super Bowl. And all the while, Drake is struggling to find the success he's used to. Still finds success. Don't get it twisted. He still finds success on the charts, but not to the extent that he's used to. And we're here at this lawsuit. Now, my problem with the lawsuit is, listen, when you engage in violence, you do that accepting the consequences of violent actions. I get into this fight, there is a chance I could be seriously hurt, that I could lose my life due to this physical altercation, but I'm willing to engage in it. This is why you hear professional fighters say, I avoid street fights at all times. Or as much as I can, I avoid a street fight simply because you never know what's going to happen. So my thing is listen, you were warned not to go down a certain path. They said, hey, we can do this kind of in a more controlled type of environment where we both keep it clean. Like, yo, dude, we can do a street fight, but okay, I don't want to though. I would rather just go to the local gym. Let's get in the ring. Let's put on the headgear. Let's put on the gloves and let's box. Drake was like, nah, street fight. Okay. You mentioned my family. I mentioned it back. Yo, dude, I really don't want to do a fucking street fight. Nah, street fight. Not only street fight, I'm bringing a knife. That's Drake. Not only do I want to do a street fight, I want to bring a knife. Okay, fine, fuck it. Let's do a fucking street fight then. Little did he know though, when he sat there and he stabbed Kenny, he stabbed Dot right there in the dang on rib. He did not know Kendrick came with a fucking magnet and blew his goddamn head off. You see, you chose violence. You stabbed somebody in the rib and tried to hit their lungs. It failed. And you're mad because they decided I'm blowing your fucking head off then. You chose this path. You chose violence. That's why I feel like a lot of hip hop, especially myself, is mad at him because it's like, dude, you stepped in the ring. You knew the consequences of this. You especially knew the consequences of this when you decided, I'm bringing this man's family into this. I'm bringing his kids and his best friend and these innocent people who had nothing to do with anything. I'm bringing them into this. I let them know where I was at. I let them know, hey, I'll be with some bodyguards like Whitney. Bro, I already see where you're going. I see where you're going. Drake, I don't want to do that. I see where you're going. I'm gonna get my little lick back. But I see where you're going. I don't want to continue down this path. But be warned. If you do want to continue down this path, I'm more than willing to engage. And not only will I engage, but I will make sure that I am more than prepared. So it's like now that you have decided that, okay, well, damn, I just stabbed you in your ribs and you shoot my fucking head. Now, why are you upset? People are saying, like, hey, well, he called him a pedophile. You called. He's lying on him. And I'm like, listen, do I personally believe that Drake is a pedophile? Absolutely not. I don't think he's a pedophile. But there might be something to him being creepy. Like some weird behavior. It wasn't anything that I had to fabricate, really. I can go online and I can see that. I can pull it up and I can see that looks weird. I can pull it up online and say that doesn't look right. I can pull it up and hear Millie Bobby Brown saying, yeah, a 30-something-year-old man is texting as Millie Bobby Brown's father on the outside looking in. I'm like, dude, you couldn't have been cool with this grown man sitting there and texting your 14-year-old daughter saying, I miss you. No, bro, I get it. Y'all stars and, Hollywood is weird and stuff like that, but I just don't feel comfortable with that. You know what I mean? Just a local grocery store, Publix. Let's say you got your 16-year-old daughter there. She's working, there's older people there. Older people work at Publix. And let's say there's a 30-something-year-old manager there who happens to have her number because, hey, I might need to call you in. Out of the blue somewhere, what I'm saying, you found out that your daughter is texting him and giving her advice about boys and things like that, even though you're there. That's her father. You check her phone one day and then you see a text time and say, hey, I miss you. Dude, you are going to that store and you're going to fight that fucking manager. Stop it. Let's not act like, oh, no, there's nothing wrong. No, bro, that looks weird. It looks strange. Again, not calling a pedophile. I wouldn't call him a pedophile because as far as I know, he hasn't been arrested. He hasn't been formally charged. Nobody has ever come out and say he touched my 12-year-old kid in an inappropriate spot. None of that. None of that has been said. None of that has been. Drake has not been charged with any of that. So no, I'm not going to call him a pedophile. I'm just not. Because it's not right and it's not accurate. But I'm also not going to pretend as if I don't know where that might have come from. Let's come on, man. Let's not act brand new. It is what it is, bro. Like the shit looks weird. I can understand why people might sit there and look at it and just be like, well, that does look weird. I don't think he's a pedophile, but that's kind of weird. And it's like, dude, that's your own doing. That's your own doing. And you mad at another man for sitting there and using what you said to use against him against you. Tailor-made freestyle. Once again, talk about him liking young girls. It's a gift from me. So you knew that, hey, it might come up. You thought you were ready for it. At the end of the day, yeah, I do think that I don't even know that it's really about that. I think it's just Drake's ego's totally hurt. I think he knows damn well that a lot of the world, except for maybe your friends, people who just want to believe whatever the hell they hear on the internet, and they're out there. I don't think Drake believes at all that anybody thinks he's a a pedophile. I don't think Drake believes that. I think Drake knows damn well that that's not true. That it's hyperbole at best. It's a hyperbolic statement. I think in truth, Drake is just fucking furious that Kendrick got one on him. And got one on him in a major way. I think his ego is just hurt. And he's petty enough to say, well, then I'll burn the whole motherfucking thing down. If I can, I'll burn it all down. I'm sorry, I don't agree with the fact that you're trying to burn down the entire, an intricate piece of the art form. I think it's a little too far to sit there and say he's trying to ruin the whole genre. I don't think he's trying to ruin the whole genre, but there is a very specific aspect of the genre that he's trying to ruin. And that's the diss record. If you're black in America, you remember playing the dozens. Man, your mama's so fat, this, that, and the third. Your sister's so ugly, this, and that. That's all. That's playing the dozens. We talk shit about each other. You know what I'm saying? Like that. That's what y'all do. And best believe, bro, yes. If we know you to sit there and be doing some weird shit around some teenage girl, bro, we bringing that shit up in the dozens. It's all getting talked about. Especially if you started. Again, that's why people are saying that, hey, Drake started it. You took something that was meant as competition, you took it personal and just kept throwing little darts. To Drake's credit, there was a couple times where he did try to extend the olive branch. And maybe it was on some sneak shit. And Kendrick was just like, but nah, I don't trust you. I don't trust it. I heard how you move out here in the streets. I don't trust it. I don't agree with saying that Drake isn't hip hop really, because I'm like, listen, he stepped in the ring. I think that's something that me and El Boogie are probably going to have a conversation about, and he's going to adamantly disagree with me about, but he stepped in the ring. You got to give Drake credit for that. You have to. Because he didn't need to. As soon as Kendrick said, motherfuck the big three, it's just Big Me. You got it. I'm far too rich to be worried about that shit. You got it. That's all you, killer. You right. You got it. You the king. Do you. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to keep breaking up these billions of streams. I don't give a fuck. Good luck to you. So you got to give him credit for that. But then he loses all that credit with this lawsuit. Again, my dog, you just don't like how violent you weren't ready for this level of violence. You thought you were. You convinced yourself you were. You weren't ready for this level of violence, and now you're suing about it. So those of us who do want to sit there and want to engage in battle raps, and not us, I'm not in the rap game, but of course, those who do want to, I'd rather talk shit about you on wax than it come to blows or whatever in the streets. Now we can't even do that. I gotta watch what I say when it's just like, yo, bro, I'm talking shit, and I'm gonna talk my shit. And it's like, man, it's a fundamental part of not just rap. Understand that. It's not just a fundamental part of hip hop. It's a fundamental part of Black America. Playing the dozens is something that we grew up on. It's kind of like, you know, how we develop the quick-mindedness that we have. It's a way to exercise our turning lemons into lemonade. Seeing a bad situation and just being quick with it and just understanding, okay, how can I turn this in my favor? And it's like in our music, in our art form, now you are coming in and you're trying to take that away from us because you lost, because you came into a battle thinking you knew what kind of violence you were ready for, this level of violence, and you found out that you weren't when you took it to that level, and now you mad. That's not fair. It's not right. No, it's not right that you got called one of the worst things you could be called, a pedophile. No, that's not right either. But it's not too far off to be sitting there and be called a woman beater either. It's not. The difference between the two is there's shit on there that looks creepy when it comes to you. There's not anything that looks suspicious when it comes to me. You just pulled that shit out your ass. You just pulled it out your ass that you're sitting there and talking about I beat my woman. You just pulled it out your ass that you're calling my woman a hoe. That's my woman. No, I'm not. I'm not going to let you get away with that. I'm going to embarrass you. I'm going to embarrass you. So that's my thoughts on the whole Kendrick and Drake situation. The lawsuit, I felt like again it had to be talked about just because it's like it's out there in the ether. What am I going to do? Sit there and act like an ostrich with his head in the ground? I can't do that. With hip hop talking heads, we got to talk about what's going on in hip hop, and that's what's going on, unfortunately. So again, Judge Vargas has a choice that she has to make concerning one of the integral or one of the most important aspects of hip hop, the battle rap, and she has a choice to make. I can't believe we're saying this as hip hop fans, but hopefully the lawyers for the big record label come out with a brilliant argument as to why this should be dismissed. But maybe the damage is already done because record companies see where this could go. So maybe it's already too late. Hopefully not. Either way, hope y'all enjoyed this little talk. I try to keep it, to a brief summary about, what's going on because again, it's been talked about ad nauseum. If y'all would like, we can do a further deep dive into, this beef for whatever reason. If y'all just want to hear more about it, but if not, yeah, this hopefully be the last time that we really talk about it. So once again, just to plug the social media pages, you can find us on YouTube, Hip Hop Talking Heads on YouTube. The podcast will be posted on there, so please like, share, subscribe, comment even. We are also on X, Twitter, as it shall be henceforth known. You guys know what Twitter is, or you guys know what X is, whatever. And our Twitter handle is Talking About Rap, spelled TALKINBOUT, rap. And yeah, that's it. So like I said, if you are on Apple Music, Amazon Music, then once again, please like, share, subscribe to the podcast. Email us at welovehip84@gmail.com. You want to leave any kind of suggestions or critiques or whatever, man, we welcome all of it. So again, man, we appreciate y'all listening and tapping in. And yeah, we'll holler at y'all later, man. Peace.
Homeboys with the same niggas I'm rhyming with, but this is hip hop and them niggas should know what time it is. And that goes for Jamaica, Big Crit Wale, Pusha T, Meek Mills, A$AP Rocky, Drake, Big Sean, Jay Electron, Tyler McMillan. I got love for you all, but I'm trying to murder you niggas. Trying to make sure your core fans never heard of you niggas. They don't want to hear not one more noun or verb from you niggas. What is competition? I'm trying to raise the bar.